The Bucks versus the Indiana Pacers is going to turn into one of the rivalries that we look back on in fondness. And honestly, my favorite part is the juxtaposition of these two teams. And it's getting to the point where this opposites attract method is just it's a beautiful thing just based off the way that they set up their teams, right? So the Indiana Pacers have set their team up where it's become a democracy of men and the importance of each player in context to the team's success, because every single player on the Indiana Pacers is valuable. It's immensely important in the way that they're able to interact with each other, and not even to mention with the other team, because of it's getting to the point where every single player on their team plays. Every single player is scoring. The highest scoring player on that team right now is Pascal Siakam, right? He's putting up I think at most 20 points. And the amount of players on that team right now that's averaging 10 points, well, let's say 8 points or more, is insane. Hold on, let's look at this. I'm going to look at how spread out this scoring is amongst this team. Pascal Siakam, 20 points. Halliburton, 18 points. Mathurin, 16 points. Turner, 15 points. Naismith, 12 points. Obi Toppin, 10 points. Nembhard, 10 points. Connell, 9 points. Is that Isaiah Jackson? Isaiah Jackson. Oh, that's crazy. Isaiah Jackson, 7 points. On and on and on. Literally every single player on this team besides... Wait, is that Jahlil Okafor? LOL. Besides Jahlil Okafor, Tristan Newton, and James Johnson average at least 2 points or more. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double. You know what? 8 players in double digits, because McConnell is at 9 points a game. That is wild in comparison with the Milwaukee Bucks, where it's literally such a top heavy team. It's insane to the point of what's his face, Giannis averaging 28 a game, and then it's Giannis at 28 points a game. Then it's Lillard at 25-ish a game. And then it's Bobby Portis around 17, and then everybody else, which is an insane way to... which is a wild way to be able to compare these two teams, because it was for the longest, every NBA team was set up where you have your superstar and then their secondary guy, and then everybody else is a role player that is helping those two guys get majority of the points, majority of the share of the pie, right? But then when you look at the Pacers, it's everybody can get it. Anybody is allowed to get it, which is part of the reason why they're able to score such crazy amounts of points, because of their superstar isn't even a scorer. Their superstar doesn't even want to score the ball, and that's a wild way to run your team. Because the way that I thought they were going to set it up, I thought it was going to be Halliburton would be the guy that set it up for everybody, but he's still going to want to score the ball. But this guy's ego is nowhere to be found. He doesn't want to score on your guy. He doesn't want to dunk on your player. He doesn't want to do all this extracurricular stuff. He just wants to win. And the thing that gives him the best chance of doing that is if everybody is engaged and playing. Because one of the things you realize, not just offensively, they're working as a unit. Defensively, they're able to... Let me put it like this, because they don't play that much defense. I'll put it like this. They have set their offense up in a way where their offense is their defense. As long as they just keep the ball running and moving and running, where a guy like Nabier and Mathurin, they're scoring from everywhere, which is going to be so interesting when the playoffs actually do start against the Bucks, because if they've done this before, they've seen them. And not to mention, the Bucks aren't going to have they're not going to have Dame. Dame is going to play, maybe if this goes to a game 7, then he might show up. But I honestly wouldn't count on a Damian Lillard sighting in the 2025 playoffs. I'm not going to lie to you. I will not lie. Because the way that they're going to have to set up Giannis to face this team. He might like need to force himself to get like 40 to 50 points a game, which I will say he is very, very capable of doing, because of you don't see a guy like Giannis much, because of he's one of those players that lets you know that he's the strongest player on the court, and everybody around will be forced to deal with it if they like it or not, right? And then, not even to mention, the secondary and tertiary guys is going to be forced to show out this specific playoff series. If Gary Trent and KPJ don't blossom this playoffs, they will lose. I'm just saying that right now. They will lose because of their guard play right now is really, really lagging. And it feels like ever since KPJ got moved from the bench to the starting lineup, it feels like he has something to prove, more or less. It feels like he has something to prove, more or less, because of the type of shots and the way that he's able to insert himself into the game has been such a joy to watch, because you tend to miss that with a lot of these players where they're trying to toe the line between forcing their way in and trying to figure out what shots to take and on and on, where a guy like Kevin Porter Jr. is like, oh yeah, no, I'm set up in this position to take all the shots, because if he knows that Dame isn't coming, he knows Damian Lillard is not coming back, right? And then let's switch it over to Portis, right? He has been out for a good amount of time for alleged uses here and there, right? He has slotted himself right back into this roster like he's never left. And it makes me realize this team has been so injury prone. So many things have gone wrong for this team. And then not even to mention the way that their coach has been trying their best to kind of set these guys up to win, where Doc Rivers, I feel like he gets a lot of hate. Justified hate, sure. Unjustified, sure. But one thing that you do notice, he is trying his best. Oh my God, he's definitely trying his best. I don't know if they're just limited in the amount of sets that they can run with a guy like Giannis, because of he rarely wants to be played like a big. He gets majority of his buckets off the ISO, off the catch, if it's a pick and roll, he's picking and popping, which is insane to me. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? And it's kind of hard to watch, because of this game is definitely going to be a slugfest. It will be. Let me put it like this. The Bucks want it to be a slugfest, because of they don't have the firepower, just objectively. Their firepower is literally just Giannis, and they're lucky because Giannis has got to the point where he's improved his facilitating to the point where you have to be aware of what is going on while he's playing, right? If you're turning your back on Giannis, it gets pretty dastardly, because the thing that he's trying to do, he wants you to only send one. He wants you to try and ISO him. You know you can't ISO him, so you're going to send guys, right? And he's improved his facilitating to the point where he's unlocking these different players' full potentials, in a sense. He has had a relatively steady amount of guard and forward play this season, where they're not all-stars, they're not like sub-all-stars or like really too talented players, but there's a lot of serviceable players that are playing right now, where with the addition of Giannis, you get a guy like Taurean Prince that tends to play above his pay grade far too frequently for a player of his caliber. Because of like, I'm randomly watching, let's say, a Bucks game, and out the corner of my eye, I'm like, wait, hold on. Who is that just shot 4 threes, made all 4? Is that Taurean Prince? Our Taurean Prince? Whole time it is. Kuzma has been playing like he's trying to at least win a chip. He needs one. Like, it's getting to the point where we've watched Kuzma evolve ever since we've seen him. From being a goofy guy to being a guy that's really doesn't care too much about the game, to winning a ring, to going to a desolate team like the Wizards, and then upping his stock to the point where teams genuinely want him. Now he's getting over to the Bucks, where it's like, hey, we are trying to build a championship here with our superstar. We brought you here to make Giannis happy. Please show out. And usually when you give that type of pressure onto some players, especially younger players like that, there tends to be a fold in the books pretty quickly without people even realizing why they're folding, right? They're like, basically the light's getting too bright for a lot of players. So the fact that they've been able to keep them afloat, even though a guy of Dame's caliber hasn't been playing, has been very nice to see. So let's see how this goes, right? Playoff series. My prediction is, I hate to say it, I think it's Pacers and 6. I'm gonna say Pacers and 6, right? Yeah, Pacers and 6. And my whole thing is, I feel like there's gonna be so much scoring from so many different facets that it's gonna be really hard for the Bucks to be able to keep up with them.